Elias Crow rode the canyon road with the sun sinking behind him like a dying ember. His hat slanted low, his gray beard moving gently in the breeze. He looked like any other aging ranch hand heading back with feed and saddle oil. But folks in town always said Elias carried more than supplies on his shoulders. He carried a grief so deep it hollowed a man from the inside out. His wife, Mary Beth, had died 12 winters ago, and the world never felt whole again. Some said the sorrow aged him. Others swore he had lived 2 lifetimes. One in a war no one understood, fought in a future no one believed was real. They called it the War on Terror, but on the frontier, that sounded more like a campfire ghost story than history. Elias didn't argue. What truth he carried wasn't meant for anyone else. The canyon narrowed ahead. His horse, Calliope, snorted sharply, ears flicking toward a wagon sitting crooked on the dusty trail. There were no oxen, no riders, no tracks showing where anyone had gone. Just silence. Elias dismounted quietly and stepped toward the wagon. The air felt thick, like trouble had just passed through and would soon return. A soft cry broke the stillness. "Please, someone." Elias tensed and pulled the canvas flap aside. Inside lay a young woman, bare wrists bruised and tied, her wedding dress torn at the seams, tears tracing down a dusty cheek. When she saw Elias, she flinched. Don't speak loud," she whispered. "They'll hear. They're close." Her voice trembled like a trapped bird. "I'm scared it hurts." Elias knelt beside her and loosened the knot around her wrists. "What happened to you, miss?" he murmured. "They took me," she whispered. "My name is Miriam Hale. They killed my father, and they're forcing me to marry a man who—" Her breath hitched. "He'll be back. Please help me." Elias felt a spark of something he hadn't felt in years. Purpose. But before he could answer, Calliope stamped her hoof and looked upward. Shadows moved on the ridge above. They weren't alone. Elias pulled Miriam behind the wagon wheel as dust spilled over the canyon's upper rim. 3 riders appeared first, their silhouettes sharp against the falling sun. Then came 3 more, and then a man in a black coat, riding a pale horse like Death himself, had chosen a more fashionable wardrobe. Calder Price. Even the desert seemed to stiffen at the sight of him. Calder had carved his mark on the frontier with a knife and a grin, selling fear, flesh, and anything else he could claim ownership over. His eyes were cold enough to freeze a river. "Well," Calder called, pushing his hat back. "The gentle ghost himself. Folks say you're half myth, half mistake." His men chuckled. Elias stepped out slowly, hands visible, stance calm as a still pond. "She ain't going anywhere with you," he said. "Let her go." Calder's grin sharpened. "That girl was paid for in gold. Her daddy owed me. When he didn't pay up, well, I collect one way or another." Miriam tightened her grip on Elias's sleeve. Calder leaned forward. "Old man, you're outnumbered 10 to 1. You got 2 choices. Walk away or get buried right here." Elias didn't move, and in that moment, something shifted. His posture changed just slightly. His eyes sharpened, calculating. A soldier's awareness, too precise, too modern, too disciplined for any frontier ranch hand. Calder noticed it. His smirk faded. "You ain't who folks say you are you?" he muttered. Elias didn't answer. Then, a gunshot cracked, echoing down the canyon. Not Elias's. One of Calder's riders had fired a warning shot into the dirt at Elias's boot. The threat broke the silence like a glass window. Elias moved before thought could catch up. He dropped low, rolled, and drew with a speed that defied age. 2 shots rang out, each one striking a bandit's gun hand cleanly, sending their weapons spinning through the air. Miriam gasped. Calder's men scrambled, shocked. No one on the frontier moved like that. Calder cursed. "You damn ghost, what are you?" Elias didn't answer, but his stance, steady, unshaking, precise, was the stance of someone who had once faced enemies far more organized, far more ruthless. Enemies from another age. Calder spat. "Fall back. We'll regroup." His men retreated up the ridge, but before disappearing, Calder pointed at Elias. "You're dead, Crow. You just ain't buried." When they vanished into the fading light, Elias turned to Miriam. "You're safe for now. he said softly. But she shook her head. They'll come back. Elias nodded. I know. And in his eyes, for the first time in years, something old and dangerous woke up. Something the desert would never forget. The wind howled through the abandoned way station as Elias guided Miriam inside. Broken windows rattled. The night smelled of sand and old ghosts. Elias lit a lantern, casting a warm circle of light that did little to ease Miriam's trembling. You should rest, he said gently. She shook her head. Back there, the way you moved. How is that possible? You're just a rancher. Elias's jaw tightened. That's what I've tried to be. But you're not, are you? Silence stretched. Finally, Elias spoke in a low, haunted voice. My first memories aren't of this place, or this time. Miriam blinked. What do you mean? Elias stared into the lantern flame, as though seeing another world entirely. I fought in a war, not like the ones you hear about. A war with machines, with fire that fell from the sky, with enemies you never saw coming. They called it the War on Terror. Miriam frowned. That sounds impossible. He nodded. Folks here think it's a story. I wish it was. How did you get here? A storm, Elias murmured. A storm that swallowed a dozen men whole. When it passed, we were scattered across time like leaves in a wind. His eyes darkened. And Calder Price, he was one of them. Miriam's breath caught. Calder came from where you came from? He embraced the darkness of that world, Elias said. I try to forget it. Miriam touched his arm, her voice trembling. Elias, I don't want to go back to him. You won't, he promised. Not while I'm still breathing. They spent the night preparing. Elias taught her how to load a revolver, how to keep her hand steady, how to aim even when afraid. She learned quickly, fear sharpening her focus. You're stronger than you think, he told her. Just before dawn, the ground vibrated with distant hoofbeats. Miriam stiffened. They're coming. Elias checked his rifle, then placed a hand on her shoulder. You stay behind me, no matter what. As the first rays of sun bled across the desert floor, Calder's gang appeared on the horizon, 10 riders wide, guns glinting like teeth. Elias exhaled slowly. Time to finish what that storm started. The sunrise cast a blood-red glow across the desert as Calder's riders charged. Dust rose around them like spirits of the damned. Elias stepped forward, rifle braced. For a moment, the world froze, the kind of stillness only found in the breath before battle. Then chaos erupted. Gunfire shattered the morning calm. Riders fanned out. Bullets kicked sand into the air. Elias moved with a strange grace, too fast, too controlled, each shot deliberate. Miriam watched in awe. The old rancher she had met was gone. In his place stood the man forged in a distant war. Calder rode straight at Elias, firing wildly. You should have stayed dead, ghost, he roared. Elias ducked behind a crate, reloaded, and stood up again, calm despite the storm. Let her go, Calder. This ends now. Calder smirked, drawing a long knife. You still don't get it, do you? We're the same. 2 lost dogs in the wrong century. Maybe, Elias said, but you chose what to do with that curse. I chose different. Calder lunged. Elias dodged, the 2 men clashing in a whirl of grit and desperation. Miriam screamed as Calder knocked Elias to the ground. Calder raised his knife. This bride belongs to me. No, Miriam whispered. Not anymore. She lifted the revolver Elias had given her. Her hands trembled, but her aim did not. She fired, not at Calder, but at his horse. The creature reared violently. Calder lost his balance and tumbled backward over the canyon ridge, screaming as he fell into the jagged ravine below. Silence swallowed the desert. One by one, Calder's remaining men fled into the horizon. Miriam dropped the gun and fell to Elias's side. He was bleeding, his breath shallow. Elias, stay with me. His voice was barely a whisper. You did good, stronger than you know. Tears welled in her eyes. I'm scared, it hurts, but it's not like before. Elias managed a faint smile. You changed it. You changed everything. The rest of the tale, well, that depends on who you ask. Some say Elias Crow survived and walked deeper into the desert, becoming the spirit folks still swear they see on moonlit nights. Others claim he died in Miriam's arms, finally finding peace. But all the storytellers agree on one thing. The gentle ghost saved the bride, and the bride saved him back.